name's Tom Lilly. It's my very first live stream. I'm an artist. Force One Studios, as the logo says. I am attempting to do this for the very first time, so bear with me. I just got my setup all got everything just all set up, and I'm still trying to get used to everything. Right now, you're seeing me from my computer, but I am about ready to switch you over to my art desk, which is right next to me. Give me one moment. I've got to move to transition you guys over, and here we go. Again, give me a moment. I do apologize. This is me trying for the very first time.
Hey everybody, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification button, and if you could, like and share the video.
Okay. So, I am over here at the art table now. I am a big guy, as you can see. And this is all kind of new to me. Bear with me. For those of you who do not follow me, or there's probably only, it looks like there's only one viewer so far. Again, give me one moment. This is all new to me, folks. So again, I do apologize for my lack of robust here. But anyway, so I got my setup here. I am, for those of you who don't follow me, you might want to check out my Instagram page. There was an illustration I did recently on Instagram, and it's right here. I want to make sure you guys are able to see that. And apparently not. There we go. Yeah, okay. So I got some lag time going on in the video from what I can see. So anyway, this is an illustration of a character I'm working on for my graphic novel. I'm coming out a graphic novel soon. It's going to not soon. Not soon enough for me, but hopefully it'll be soon. It's called Solomon's Temple. It's part of a long trilogy. It's going to be a series of graphic novels. I'm trying to do something very new, something very different from a lot of people when it comes to graphic novels. Don't want to give too many details away, but this is just one illustration of this gentleman right here. As I said before, I was working on this the other day. Had a little problem with the eyeball, made it a little too high on the Instagram, but I adjusted for it using some white out and so forth and so on. So anyway, putting that aside, I'm going to go ahead and start doing some illustration work, and hopefully you'll enjoy, and hopefully I'll get some followers, some people who actually want to see this and see my work. If not, that's okay. It'll come in time. And of course, I need my reading glasses. I'm just going to start off with a really just a warm up, just to I don't see anybody following but probably me. That's one viewer probably is me viewing myself doing this. But one day I'll look back on this and laugh and say, oh my God, I was such a rookie at doing this. But just like me to jump head first, especially on a Friday night at 1:30 in the morning. There is nobody up at this time. If they are up on a Friday night, they're most likely out having themselves a party. But for me, that's actually the best time to try your very first Twitchcast that you really don't know what you're doing and you're figuring it out as you go. And trying to get myself inspired here. And there we go. I don't like the way that horn goes right there. Let me pull out the old eraser here. There we go. For those of you who catch this video later, I have been an artist off and on for a long time. My current job is as a bus operator for SEPTA. Actually, I shouldn't say bus operator, an operator, because I operate the trolleys. But I am also certified to operate buses. I worked as a bus operator, training supervisor, assessment manager for another transportation company years ago. And that company folded and I ended up going to SEPTA. Tried my hand at doing, trying to break into the industry several years ago and found out that it is really, 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 really hard to get into the industry these days, even more so than it was years ago when I first tried it back in the 90s, early 90s. And it's just not the same industry. From what I hear, the industry as in a whole is starting to suffer. And I've been watching these Twitch casts, Doug TeNapel, Elliot Fernandez, and they had some really interesting ideas on how to promote your work and what you need to do. I'm skipping a lot of steps here, but that's because I always go into things full force, full grunt, and like a maniac, crash or burn. But that's okay. I don't mind. Because they figure eventually I'm going to keep doing this and some people are going to start following. And actually are going to like what I have to offer. I just realized what I forgot to do. I'm using mic on my computer, and I think you might not be getting the best of sound. Let me check this out real quick. Let me check this out. Huh. There we go. I'm going to go to audio property. Nope. That's the wrong one. Audio properties, built-in microphone. Nope. We are going to my USB audio device. We're going to try that bad boy out and see if that works. according to this, I am getting a volume through. Hopefully you guys are able to hear it. I'll find out shortly when I go back and take a look. Go back and look at my video and see how foolish I look. I really gotta stop. Just really gotta stop making myself out to be so bad. Low self-esteem has always been a very big issue with me. It's probably the reason why I've been an off and on artist, because I've never believed in my own talent, and I've been told many times by many people, man, you need to do something with this. You need to make something happen. You shouldn't be working as no bus operator, trolley operator, which is what I'm currently doing. You're too good of an artist. So, and these are people that come on the trolley. They're not friends. They're just people who see me sketching and doodling while I'm on the trolley. I bring a sketchbook and I start working. But anyway, this is let's try this bad boy. Haven't used this pen in a long time. But I'm going to give this one a shot. And if you happen to come across this video and you're not the one viewer it's showing on there, as I said, I think that one viewer might actually be me, because there's nobody chatting with me. If you want to say hello, that'd be great. Let me know that you're out there, or is that actually me? Because again, I'm completely new to this. Absolutely nobody watching. But if you catch this video later and you like what you see, say, I might want to follow this guy, go ahead and put me your notifications so that you can know when I'm on live, and we can work from here. They tell me I'm not allowed to use music because copyright infringements. I don't know, man. I know there was one guy on here that I watched. Dwayne. I think his name was Dwayne. Anyway, he would listen to music, but he'd listen to this certain thing, and I don't know if I'm allowed to do it, and I don't want to. I really jam better and do things, get my artwork really rolling when I'm watching a bit, or not watching a video, but listening to music. And anyway, I'm gonna probably switch over to Instagram shortly. See if I can get anybody to follow me over there, and then I can possibly lead them over to Twitch. It's going to be really embarrassing to see that absolutely nobody came over here. But anyway, I'm really hoping that this will begin to catch on. I mean, because according to Elliot, eventually you will get followers. You will get people who are interested if your work's good enough anyway. something happened. Good old 2 o'clock in the morning. It's not even Friday. It's actually Saturday. 2 o'clock. It's 1:49 actually, but close enough. Probably with the look of the delay that's going on here, by the time you guys see it, or by the time anybody's seeing this, it might be 2 o'clock. I don't know how big the delay it is. I'm going to start with a good old demon, because this kind of demon, I should say. They're in my story, I come to find out that demons are actually these forsaken creatures that stem from another being that was killed, and that being has three stages of existence. And I'll go into more detail later. Hopefully I'll get some people who are following want to hear more about the story as I'm working on it, as I'm working on the artwork. I'm currently working on the script. I've got a lot of stuff framed out already, but I'm trying to get that script squared away. I said this first was going to be dealing with one character in a bigger universe. I've been working on this universe for 20 years. And sounds like a long time. No, it's like 20 years of I woulda, coulda, shoulda, wasted a lot of time. But you know what? Recently I realized, hey, even if nobody buys the book, at least I tried. Put it out there. But anyway, this little meanie, well, obviously, most likely end up being one of them. It's just a concept. If you guys want to see more of my work, please put on notifications. Let other people know. I need an audience. I don't want to, because I don't really want to have my idea fail, story idea fail. And for that, I need people to follow. For some odd reason, even though everybody says I'm talented and they love my work, I only got a following of about 200 people, a little over 200 people on Instagram. Not thousands like I should have, so probably doing this a bit premature. Because it's not like I can convince a whole lot of people to come follow me on Twitch. But it's fun. It's really, really fun. It's fun being an artist. It's fun to create new ideas, new characters, new stories. I love it. It's so much fun for me. Universes within universes. Ideas within ideas. And I can get a couple people to follow me on maybe I get a bigger audience over here than I do on Instagram, or maybe the combination of the two will help me get more followers in general. I mean, what I plan on doing with this graphic novel, I'm going to try to do something very different. Again, these are just preliminary drawings, because I don't know if I really want to go into using this medium. I might try digital, but I'm still there's. I feel like I'm missing something. There's something I want to do with this and I kind of got a feeling I know what it is. It's going to take a lot of work to pull it off. A lot of practice, a lot of time, but it'll be worth it in the end. I think it'll create a better product for the book and the graphic novel, and really make it more entertaining for you guys. Or I can just keep it black and white. I mean, I'll show you guys this book, the sketchbook of mine where I did this image of what the a part of the story. Temple Solomon, there's a character. I'll let you know this part. There's a character in there, he's a main character. His name is Callan. Actually, it's one of several names, but the current people who know him in this stage of his life, because he's given up old part of his life. He's given up. He's used to have a family when he was younger. In Philadelphia, and he runs away from Philadelphia when something occurs that freaks him out and scares him. He knows he can't understand why it happened to him, and he's afraid that the rest of the world's going to find out, and he needs to get out and figure out what happened. So he leaves Philadelphia, leaves his family. His father passed away. I should say his stepmother, with his two half-brothers. So he runs away because he doesn't want them feeling the effects or getting in trouble, what he thinks he would be in trouble for with his newfound ability that he has. He does not want them getting injured in any way by it. So he leaves. And in doing so, he ends up on a freighter, working actually as a stowaway, trying to get away. He goes to the port harbor and sneaks in, and in the end he ends up working as a hand on this freight ship going to Europe, dropping off goods. And sneaking into Europe, where he ends up running into another man who's like him, an older man who's like him, who knows what he is, knows what's going on, and begins to train him for a new type of life, a new type of adventure. And an adventure where they're warriors. There's always one pupil and one master. See, trending down the line, and he becomes the pupil to this master, and this master teaches him how to fight these demons, these monsters, these creatures. All this happens in Europe in the beginning, but that's not where the first novel starts. The first novel actually starts off a little later in life. He ends up coming back. But I will be it will be touching upon and hinting upon and seeing. Sorry, just had to shake this pen. You will see glimpses of his past and how he ends up where he's currently at and what's going on and the horrible sorrows he's feeling and the tragedy that befalls him, and the doubts of his life and his doubt of his faith because he's a believer in God. And as he tries to fight these beings. For all intents and purposes, want to wipe out mankind. And take over and make the earth the image they want. Which is obviously not the image that God wants, because this man is going to be a soldier of God. Oh, it's 2 o'clock. Oh. Now, I usually don't do this, but I'm about ready to, and I just don't want to post it on my Force One page, so I'm probably going to have to, if I do some work like I'm about ready to tell you guys, whoever's watching this video, what I'm thinking about doing is, I noticed that new individual content or new content doesn't get much traction. It seems like it's probably the reason why the movie studios and everybody keeps refurbishing or re-putting out the same old, spewing out the same old. It had a lot to do with the fact that, well, we don't seem to want to take a chance on something new, because what if it sucks? So anyway, that being said, I have considered many times, because I used to draw them all the time, drawing characters. I might do some of those here on Twitch, like Marvel DC characters, Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, just to try to build a following, because I want people to follow this. Because ultimately what this is going to lead to is me telling you guys information about my graphic novel. And again, I got nobody watching me on Twitch right now, but what did I expect? Probably nobody. I have following me out of the 200 people who follow me, or 200. Last time I checked, it was 216 people who follow me on Twitch. Probably or follow me on Instagram. Actually, follow me on Twitch. Who actually have Twitch or are part of Twitch. Because it seems like this is a gaming platform most of all. But that's okay. And also, this is my test. So I will be trying or attempting to cast, do a live show on YouTube as well. I got approved for that bad boy. They're like, yay, Mr. Lilly, come on over, and we will go ahead and let you do live streams for your channel. And I'll probably be posting some of these up as well, so that people see me and get this video stuff rolling and get some chats. And there is nobody chatting with me right now. If there was, if somebody popped up, I probably missed it because I was so busy doing the artwork. It's okay. I don't mind. I really don't. Gotta start out somewhere. Gotta start out with something. And keep doing it and they will come. I've noticed that if I'm posting more on my Instagram, because I only have like 140 posts actually on Instagram. I had a lot more, but I emptied out the cache on it and moved a lot of the stuff like the Batmans and all the drawings I did of all these other superheroes from other characters over to another Instagram account. And you can find me on that as well as Thomas H. Lilly 3. It's my other Instagram account, and that is where I put all my stuff where I don't own the intellectual rights stuff. It's not my intellectual property. And I don't want it on Force One Studios because I'm trying to make Force One Studios its own entity, its own publishing entity. I want it to be a platform to create my ideas and my characters, and eventually I would like to start selling some of my materials on, or using Force One Studios as the name of it, because I want to create T-shirts and sweatshirts and material, all using the characters and logos designed for my studio, Force One. So anyway, I would assume stream chat. Welcome to the chat room. I don't see anything popping up, so. Oh my luck, though. That's probably not where it shows up at, and I'm not. And I got people talking to me, and they're like, "Oh man, you ain't talking back," or I haven't clicked something that allows me to chat with people, which could be too. So I said, I'm new to this. I will get better. With that, all time. Again. I was planning on doing this earlier today, but I got so wrapped up in doing so many other things. I was just wiped out and tired. I wasn't feeling the energy and the ability to do anything. So I was like, I watched some TV, which I shouldn't have done. I promised myself I was going to be cutting back on that because TV eats up a lot of your time. I don't have. I thought, to be honest with you, I thought if I got rid of cable, I would have less to watch, and it would probably force me to get away from watching TV altogether. But dang nabbit, I have Hulu Prime, or I have Amazon Prime, because I buy a lot of my art materials and supplies through them. And they have a lot of video content, and on top of that, we were paying for Hulu. We continued that subscription, and Netflix. And then also dummy me because there were certain things I wanted to see that I remembered, and I was like, from watching, I don't know why I did it. And I was like, man, I miss these shows. If I want to watch these shows like Navy, like SEAL Team, David Boreanaz. Love that show. And I kept seeing these commercials on on Amazon Prime for the tooth coming out right there. I don't know, freaking bad right there. Yeah, just jutting out there a little bit, just saying hello. Because what monsters, especially this thing, teeth is going to be perfect. They're not. It's going to be all gnarled, twisted up, and coming out. So anyway, but yeah, I was watching this thing on Amazon. On Amazon, I was watching one of their video programs about this Star Trek, new Star Trek Discovery thing. And I, it kept making it look really good. And I was like, let me just, let me go check it out. So I went ahead and got my subscription. I paid for the $5.91 because again, I'm trying to cut the bills down, trying not to pay too much. And it's one of the reasons why we got rid of cable, because cable is just so expensive. You know, cable companies, if you really want to make life people, you know, you really want to keep people, all right, smart thing, make it cheaper. I get it, it's costs you money, but to do this stuff, but your platforms are so damn expensive. There's got to be a way to make it cheaper. Because you're losing, man. Streaming is the way. The cord cutting is happening. And it happens. It has a lot to do with the fact that the cost of just watching regular TV via your services is so expensive. Nobody can afford it. I couldn't afford it. I had to stop. I couldn't do it no more. I had to stop. I couldn't. I was like, what the hell? Why are you guys doing this? I was trying to keep it under $100. I was doing good there for a little bit because I mean, living here in northeastern Pennsylvania, northeastern part of the United States. I live south of Philadelphia in a little town called Norwood, and but living here is expensive. I mean, just so my family can live in a place where. One of the reasons why I'm still accepted, because I gotta be able to afford to live here. Just so I don't have to worry about my wife and kids while I'm at work, and have to worry about them getting shot. And to live in a nicer section of this like area like this, I'm paying $14.50 a month. It's a little bit more than that. It's $14.55 a month now in rent. Did own a house one time a while ago, but unfortunately, the company, as I said before, when I was working as an operator for another transportation company, that company folded, went out of business, and as a result, I ended up losing my house. I was already on the way. I mean, I got involved in investing in a real estate property deal, and should have turned out better than it did, but it didn't. Lost my ass, and I was the one out of my business partner and my contractor who suffered the worst. And I think that's their fault. That's my fault. I should have stuck to my guns and told them, you know, I can't afford to put this kind of money out. I kept listening to the one saying, yeah, it's gonna be all right. Be all right. It's gonna be all right. We'll be all right. Yeah, don't worry, he still has his house. I ended up losing mine. I ended up having to move my wife and my kids in with my mother, my stepfather. He was generous enough to let us stay there. Stepfather was a D word over it, but I can't blame him for that. I can't. He didn't want us to move in to begin with, and actually, a while before that, he asked me, like, he said, do whatever you have to, just don't move into this house. Move back in with your mother and I. So my stepfather was telling me that because he apparently they had my sister living there. And things didn't go well with that. He was giving a whole bunch of personal information I probably shouldn't be. Family hears this like, you son of a bitch. You so much. However, what's her name says it from that? How I Met Your Mother. Probably shouldn't be talking about that either. I don't want to get copyright strikes on anything. So, yeah. Elliot Fernandez, if you don't watch him, Sharkmonger, he's awesome. Oh my God, I love that guy's show. Just love his show. I've contributed money to try to help him along because he's an awesome entertainer and good teacher. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stuff that he taught that he tells people about. I mean, he's helped me out with some stuff, talking to me about things. I mean, not on a one-to-one basis, but here and there. You know, and there was a video he did where he was talking about keeping eyes straight, because I had this problem where my eyes ended up like I did on that one video, one picture I was showing you. Here, I'll pull that back over here and show you again. This eye was up too high, and he was talking in the video. He was talking about this. He's like, there's a line you're supposed to follow across when you create. Like, you create the circle, you create the line, draw a line for that, and then you bring a line down the center of the face where you're the direction, and you bring a line across. But the thing of it is it's more than just one line. But anyway, for a long time, because I didn't have time to do artwork, a lot of artwork, and I pretty much was doodling all the time. I developed some bad habits. I lost some of the basic knowledge, that basics. Lost some of my basics that you had to follow, like foreshortening, using line depth, also, perspective, because essentially it's perspective in a face too. If you pay attention to what's going on here, I got a line that comes across here for anybody who's watching this. All right, when you're dealing with perspective, you're going to be dealing with a point that's way over here. So you're going to have this line for the brow. Then you'll have this line for your eye, for the midsection of the eye. But it all should come down to a narrow point. Then you have a line coming for the nose and a line coming from the jaw. And essentially what happens is if you're, I'll pull out a piece of scrap paper here and show you. When you're drawing, everything should be broken down as basic shapes. So basically, if I'm drawing this face, let me use a darker pencil here. This is an H pencil, this will work. So I'm drawing a basic shape, okay? We'll start off with a square. Okay? And again, using perspectives. We want to make sure all that's in there. Well, it's the same thing. Draw your line. Draw your line. Okay. Now there's a line that comes across here for this. I'm going to take this line, connect it there, take this line, connect it back. That's your basic perspective. And you got that. Okay, so you start off with a box. Now you want to create a head within this box. You're drawing your circle. Let me flip this over so we do not. Trying to keep it on down one image at a time. So I got my basic box here, okay, for my basic perspectives. Okay, now you're like, okay, Tom, how do I turn that into a head? I've got a box. It's simple, okay. Again, using basic perspectives, create your center. Okay, and this is just for, see, and you create a circle. And you can do the same thing. The more lines you get, the harder you're keep things equal. But you're going to draw an oval within this circle. That gives you a start of your head. All right. Now I like to divide my heads up smaller. You got the top part of the cranium, the round dome. As you can see, I have a round head. with a big beard. Okay, now I'm going to bring this down. I got my ear, got my jaw. Okay, this is where my jawline is going to come at. Okay, so now I've got that perspective. Okay, now I got to draw, erasing all of this around it so I don't get myself all confused. Because it is easy to do when I'm doing it this way. Alright, so I'm just trying to explain to you how this perspective works. Now, using that same point down here, I create a line for the eye, or in this case for the brow. Now I create a line for the eye. And I create a line for my nose. Create a line for my mouth. And you have your jaw. Okay? So now I got my brow here. Remembering that the center line's right here. Now what I like to do is I like to create another line. It comes down on either side. Now you gotta remember this is not, it's going to barely noticeable on this side. Okay? Because the perspective you're drawing from. That line gives you an idea of where your brow is going to be for this face. So again, I'm just going to lightly remove some of this excess here. Okay, so now I got a place for my eyebrow. Voila. Okay, and the eyebrow cresses over ever so slightly. There's my eyebrow. Okay, now I'm going to draw my eye. Now, gotta pay attention to what's going on with the eye. If you ever look at the eyes, this is a rough drawing. So the corner of this eye usually ends where the edge of your eyeball. Your eyebrow goes over top of goes past your eyeball or your eyelids. Okay, so in this case, when you're doing this, you're going to go across and end it right there. So we got our basic eye right there. Okay? There you go. So make it simple. Now, we got to worry about the nose. Our nose is going to end right here. It's going to stick out, so we're going to keep that little line out right there. Now, if you ever pay attention to the curve of a face, the face dips in, right? So we're going to dip in right there. And we got to be able to fit this eye in there. Now, at the angle this face is in, do you think you're going to see the whole eyeball? Do you think it's going to be a whole eyeball? Most likely not, because you're still going to have some edge here where you're going to want to show some skin. Alright, so you're going to be showing a partial eyeball, like so. Okay, so now we're going to draw our mouth. Okay, like so. Just draw the mouth. So now you see I started off with a square box using perspective, and I loosely put it in there. I didn't use a ruler, I just loosely put it in all my lines. Now I've got my basic face. Okay, remember, faces are always smooth and round. I mean, there are some more squared off faces out there, but I like to bring my lips down to this corner edge right here. And you just bring it in. There you go. I recently started doing this because I saw Elliot Fernandez doing it, and I love the way he draws his jawline. I wish I'd started doing that a while ago, but he puts his little dip in the jaw right there, and he likes to add this little flair in there, and it really does add something to the character. But so I give credit where credit's due. I liked that little part of it, and I saw it, and I started using some of it myself because it is awesome. He's an incredible artist. If you ever get a chance to go check out his work, do so. He is an incredible artist. So anyway. Put the head in. Again, a little bit of an eye where the brow line or the hairline comes down the center. If he's got a widow's peak, go. So, anyway, if you'd like to see more of my work, see how things work in Mr. Lilly's world, Force One Studios world, please come back and come see me when you're able to watch me live. We have to talk. I love talking to people. Love showing them new information. Love being an artist. Anyway, so there you go. So it gives you an idea. Right? Put eyeball action in there. There you go. And keep this low. Chin music. And you got a relatively large jaw man here. But there you go. Your head. And the eyeball is in proper perspective because it follows that line. And as I said before, that is something I've known all along and did for years. But I have this habit. I shouldn't say recently. I put a stop to it. I would start pulling out both my sketchbooks because I would get the itch, and I would start drawing and start working on my artwork, but then life would happen. My wife, I have 3 sons. They're all older now. Yeah, but when they were younger, I had to worry about paying the bills and getting things done. My wife and I both agreed we didn't want strangers raising our children, so we didn't want our children going to daycare. So what we did was, anyway, back to what I'm saying, real quick. There's your basic head. So anyway, put that away. Let's go back to drawing my sketch here, my drawing here. We didn't want strangers raising our kids. So I didn't want them in daycare. Not that I'm saying that's bad. It's good for some people. It just wasn't what we wanted. So we decided we were going to raise them themselves and take care of, not do the daycare thing. In some cases, I think it hurt us, but in other cases, I think it was good because our kids. Anytime you have kids that are with mom and dad, better than having somebody else raising the kids or doing stuff for your kids. I personally think. And some of my more formative years was because my mother was available when I was a child for a while there. I mean, it wasn't always. But then when my mother and father divorced when I was about 5, 6 years old, and my mother had to start worrying about having a regular job, so she could take care, so she could take care of us and take care of me and my sister. We had my grandmother. God bless her. She died last year. Broke my heart. But she had a nice long life. She was in her 80s. Survived by my grandpa, my papa. And my grandmother was an artist. And she too never really got a chance to live her dream, and she wanted to live her dream as an artist, and she wanted me to, so desperately wanted me to do something with my ability because she saw great talent there, and she wanted me to do something with it. Unfortunately, before she passed away, she never got to see me do that. And, so I believe she's watching from heaven. Now I got to make good on doing this, making this happen. That's what I want to do. My grandma, I love her. Her and my papa. My mom and papa, love them both. They were a big part of my life growing up. They introduced me to God. I am a believer in Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. I do apologize if that offends some of you. Don't mean to offend. I respect all religions, all ideologies. If you're an atheist, that's fine. I'm not going to hold anything against you for being an atheist. I do not criticize anybody for their beliefs. Figure it this way. I want somebody to respect my beliefs in the way I think and not make me feel bad about what I believe. Then I should not do the same to them. I mean, it's one of the golden rules in the book. Good book. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's a very important philosophy to live by. I think a lot of people forget that, especially since, I'm seeing some of the ugliness out there, and it's hard. It's making me ugly sometimes, and I know it, and it bothers me to no end that it does. The ugliness, the way people treat each other, how they talk. It worries me. I wonder what the future holds for all of us. It's depressing. I know the good book says that it all comes to an end eventually. When that end is, none of us really know. Some of us believe it. Some believe it's going to be sooner than later. Others believe it could be later. I don't know. It doesn't give us specific dates in the good book. None that I have found anyway as of yet. But it is said that one day could be soon. That noise you heard in the background was my son. He's trying to sleep on the couch. He had a panic attack. And he doesn't want to sleep in his room right now. So, anyway, even though back to what I was saying before, even though the good book says that that this is all doomed and eventually will end existence, leading to a better and more fulfilling existence in heaven. I've always held hope that maybe somehow we would figure out how to fix things and make it right. But that's a failing on my part, because that's the other thing the good book also says. Trust not in man, for he will fail you every single time. And I can tell you, there's a lot of truth to that. Personal experience, there's a lot of truth to that. When I was younger, I used to be able to quote Bible verses. I'm not so good with that anymore. Of course, I'm lucky these days if I can quote you my birthday. My poor children are constantly confusing theirs. Mixing them up with each other. I got one that was born February 6th, another one was born April 4th, another one was born same day as my father, September 4th. I always used to think it was September 5th. And then, I always go back when my dad was September 5th. One day I was talking to my dad and I was like, Dad, you're not going to believe it. He was born one day off of your birthday. He's born September 4th. And my dad was like, what do you mean one day off my birthday? That is my birthday, you fool. I was like, oops, I'm so sorry. For some reason, I thought my birthday was on the 5th. All those years, I thought my dad's birthday was on the 5th. And it was on the 4th. I felt like such a fool. I felt so bad. My poor mom. I gotta learn to celebrate her birthday more and get more involved in her birthday. And hers is in August. I know the date. August 1st. But she was always such a giving lady, a giving woman, especially to her children. She always wanted to make sure we had what we wanted. And, she didn't always have the money to do so. Most times, many times, very broke, very poor. And for a while there, living on my grandfather's farm in West Virginia, living out of his house, which had no electricity. It's hard to believe that in this day and age, but there's how many people, aside from the Amish, and I think even they're starting to get electricity, actually live in a house without electricity. But we did it. We lived in West Virginia in a house that had, and I'm not that old, so you guys know. So I'm not like from talking about 1920s. This was actually during the 1980s. Probably 1980 to 1984. No, 1986, 1981 to 1986. I believe actually. But we lived in a house that had no heat, or we had a heater. Had no electricity. We had a wood burning stove for heat, and the stove in the kitchen actually was wood burning and gas. We had natural gas running to the house, but the natural gas my grandfather never had to pay for because he actually owned the mineral rights for the property, and the gas company would actually built a well specifically just for his houses. I say houses plural because we built a second house on the property. It had 40 acres. We built a second house on the property, which we were supposed to, my mother and my sister and I, with my stepfather, who just got back out of jail. Yes, stepfather was in jail. My mother's second husband. Not a pleasurable experience. Don't want to talk about that much. But anyway, he just got back, and we were supposed to be living in the house that we built in West Virginia. But I was having trouble in school because the kids were particularly brutal with me because I was always kind of been an outcast. I got people who like me today. I don't know how that happened, but a lot of people like me. They always know my last name. Nobody really picks on me, but I don't know if they love me. I'm still not like a popular person. Just a person that everybody knows. So anyway, these kids in school in West Virginia were particularly brutal on me. Kept going to school, and all I would hear is, "I heard you call me an SOB," and they get punched in the head. And I wouldn't fight back. I ended up crying a lot of times because I wouldn't fight back because I was raised by my mother, who was extreme pacifist at the time. And I think more so pacifist because she was just terrified I would become a tyrant, a thug, somebody who got into fights all the time. Because apparently my father was, when he was younger, fresh out of the Marine Corps, that was a big problem for our family. He would get into fights a lot. And my mother was afraid I would turn into that. And my father tended that at a young age. He got over it eventually. He got married to the right woman, Claire, my stepmother. Because my mother and my father really did not make a good match. But he married my stepmother, Claire, and Claire got him on the right path. And he was able to calm down and not be so angry. And the right person does that for you, I guess. can change you. And Claire was definitely the right person for him. Took him to a better place. Anyway, that aside, I'm talking up a storm here. To nobody. Hopefully one day it'll be somebody. I think these videos last for 14 days on Twitch, but I will be posting this video on YouTube, and hopefully people will watch it there. Get a kick out of now I'm sitting here talking to myself. I've only got a couple of videos on YouTube, nothing spectacular. But as they say, you gotta start off somewhere, right? Gotta start off somewhere. So, this is my beginning. My birth. Rebirth in our world, anyway. But if you like what you see, please, once again, like, follow. If you can come follow me on Twitch, great. I will start some casts on, eventually start some casting live chats and stuff like that on YouTube. I figured I'd give this a shot because my thing was, I found a selection for Twitch and it set it up almost right away for me. I was like, wow, all I had to do is copy, cut, and paste this URL thing. And I was like, wow, is it really that easy? I've actually had it set up for on the OBS program for a couple of days, but I was just so nervous about doing this. And I was like, man, nobody's gonna follow me, but that's okay. That's okay. Hopefully you guys like this illustration. This is just a concept idea for, again, for one of the monsters in the graphic novel I'll be working in. This kind of this idea with these guys is that they're these are the Forsaken. Okay, and essentially what happens with the Forsaken, when they die, there's three forms of them. The first form is that of the fallen. These creatures called the condemned. The first one is that of the fallen. The fallen are essentially cursed by God. The Christians believe that the condemned, in my story, the condemned are the fallen angels that followed Lucifer and became, or went and joined him in his rebellion. And when they lost, God cast them down to earth. But he didn't just cast them down to earth, because they would wreak havoc. That's not what he originally intended, in my story anyway. So what he did was, when he cast them down here to earth, he casted them down here as human. And they would be born human. Live their life as human, never knowing what they truly are, what they are, and how they that they were even one of the condemned. They live their life, suffer all the pains and suffering of being mortal and being human, and suffering all of our anguishes and all of our all of our angst of being human, all of our frailties and all of our faults. And when they suffer as we do, and then eventually they die. So guess what? Only be born again human to continue the whole cycle over again. But the thing with the catch with them is they never know. They're born human. When they're born human again, they never knew about their past lives. Some of them might have a slight memory, and that's where the idea of the past life comes from. They were one of the condemned. In my story, they were one of the condemned who was reborn. And they thought for some reason at that point that, well, we all live a past life. But the truth is, and what truth is in this story anyway, that not everybody lived the past life. It's only the condemned that live the past life. The rest of humanity dies and sleeps till called upon by God. Now, the second stage of existence for one of these condemned is called the vampire. And in the story, what happens is, now they become a vampire is every once in a while something will occur, an incident will occur in their course of one of their lives as a human. And what they do is they end up sorry, it's hard for me to do this while I'm drawing. What they end up doing, what ends up happening is something occurs, some kind of disaster or some kind of event happens, and it sparks a memory of either one of their past lives that they lived as a human, or even one of their memory of what they were before they were human. But something ignites the spark, and they start to remember things that they're not supposed to remember. And if that memory is sharp enough, it continues on, and they'll start to remember more and remember more and more and more and more. And as a result, it ignites a spark, and it's supposed to be, in my story, it's supposed to be a painful event for them. But when they start to remember, but that memory, when ignited, it ignites a spark of the former being of what they were before they were human. And that spark that's in them, that essence of what they were in them, once ignited, starts to consume the body that they're currently living in, or that they're currently their current form, their current host body, I guess you say, for lack of a better term for it. But it starts to consume it. It starts to drain their life force out, and they start becoming, if they don't do something, they become a dried up husk of what they were, of what their body was before this. So anyway, these beings, the vampire, in order to prevent this from happening, they have to consume blood. As the Bible says, if you ever read about Cain and Abel, human blood, or our blood, is supposed to be very sacred. That's why, one of the reasons why when Cain struck Abel and killed him, it spilled sacred blood. Also, one of the rituals for sacrifice. Why they used to sacrifice animals, because the sacrifice of the blood was sacred. That cycle stopped for us Christians when Jesus sacrificed himself for our sins. But anyway, going back to what I was talking about in my story, the reason why these vampires feed off of this blood, because it's got a power. It's very sacred, and it rejuvenates and keeps their body, their current form, alive. There is another ability they have though. As a vampire, say if you're a millionaire or a billionaire or whatever, you live in a very lavish lifestyle, and a vampire comes along and he sees you live in this lifestyle and he becomes envious, or he wants your life, he wants your money, he wants what you are. All he has to do when he gets you alone is to consume you in your entirety. He consumes your flesh, your bones, your brains, drains you of your blood. He consumes your entire everything about you, or consumes your entire body. Once he does that, he is able to take your form, and he'll have all your memories. He'll have his own memories as well, but he'll know everything that you know, all your darkest secrets, all your everything about you. And he essentially, he becomes you. Or she becomes you. It becomes you. The condemned becomes you. And an imposter of you. Perfect imposter. And starts to live your life. And your wife and your kids and everybody, they might suspect here and there, but they'll never really truly know unless one of those condemned lets them in on a secret. To be honest with you, though, only why one of the condemned would let you in on that secret is because they're about ready to kill you themselves. They probably feel you're useless to them, and they don't need you. Well, I better stop talking about that too much because I'm giving away all my storylines. Anyway, these condemned. Those vampires, it's one of the existence of the condemned. Now, the other remaining existence of the condemned is, as I said before, I think I said this before, it's called the Forsaken. Essentially what happens is, if you were to kill one of these creatures, one of these condemned, if you were strong enough and actually were able to do it, which takes a lot of energy. It's the reason why these guys, one of these temples, that's what they're called, are trained specifically to do this, because it takes a lot of strength, and you have to know how to kill them, how to know what you're doing. But essentially what happens is, if a vampire, if one of the condemned in vampire form, not in human form, if they die in human form, they simply just are reborn human. Okay, and the only reason why they treat this in human form, they don't know what they are. Just remember, once they realize what they are in human form, they're no longer human. They become a vampire. So anyway, a vampire, when he dies, his body explodes, kind of ignites into a fire, almost like they do with in movies with the current myths of the vampires. You know, they all my vampires, by the way, do walk by daylight. They don't die by the sun. But anyway, you know how it's like you saw a couple of movies there. The vampire explodes in the sunlight, so forth and so on. Well, in my story, they do the same thing, but not because of sunlight. It was when they die, when their body is mortally wounded and they're about to die, their body literally burns to ash. And when in doing so, when it burns to ash, it frees their spirit of what they were, not their body, but the spirit of what they were. It frees that spirit. Now that spirit becomes a free-roaming monster, just a free-roaming spirit monster, an evil spirit, constantly looking to create havoc, constantly looking to hurt people, constantly wanting to do evil because it's mad, it's angry, it's lost its one true form of power. its ability to live life in all forms, except for this. And this form is when they take the host of another body, their spirit or form essence goes into another body, which automatically starts the process of death that kills the body. That they start to change and warp that body, and that body becomes kind of like this. I was thinking I might do away with the horns of it, become kind of like a monster version of the person of that human that they inhabit. I was thinking about using like some of the ideas of possession as a platform for what they do. Like maybe I'm thinking maybe the priests, when they're getting rid of the demons, and exorcism, what they're actually getting rid of is one of these things, which is essentially a demon. But yeah, they're getting rid of this thing, and my brush must be drying out or something. It's not quite working the way I want, but that's okay. Just work with the tools you got. My other brushes are in my bag, my black case. I don't want to go leaving the picture here to do this, but anyway, yeah. So that's one of the main villains, and I got other villains that are going to be dealing with this particular character, Callan, who's, as I said, he's a temple. And there's a reason why they're called Solomon's Temple, and I'll get into that a little bit more later on. I don't want to leave you guys hanging. Also, I don't want to give you the whole story, because then if I tell you the whole story, what's the use in you buying the graphic novel? And I'm hoping to get some feedback from you guys on some stuff, because I got some ideas I want to do for this, but I want to make sure that it's not ridiculous and that you're something that you guys would not be interested in, or if you are one of the few people, or maybe hopefully I'm hoping for many people who want to buy this book, this graphic novel. Yeah, I want to make sure I cater it to your needs, because I have this idea. I want to make it like a novel. You know, like a novel's like 300 pages. You ever seen, like, I obviously can't do 300 pages of artwork. That's insane to go in one book. Imagine a whole graphic novel book being like 300 pages. But I'm thinking like 100, 200 pages. And there's going to be, for this character, for Temple alone, he's going to have 3 books. Then there's another character that, I'll explain on that one a little bit later. That's a brother, believe it or not, actually, in the story, to Temple, or Callan. There's a member of his family in Philadelphia who has his own story, his own saga going on at home in Philadelphia. And that character is going to have 3 books. And then there's another brother, third brother. And there's a reason why my story explains why all 3 brothers had strange occurrences. It has to do with their family line and their lineage. Why all 3 brothers ended up in these very awkward situations. But they ended up each character's gonna have 3 books, and the books aren't gonna come out like 1, 2, 3 Temple, then 1, 2, 3 SB. I'll call him SB for now, and then 1, 2, 3 BJ. It's the third brother, but it's gonna be the first book will be about Temple, Solomon's Temple. The next book will be about SB. The next book after that will be BJ. But Temple's book's gonna leave off where he's going to be seeing his brothers eventually. You're gonna see that by the end of the first book, and unless he meet his brother, realize he's gonna end up having to have to go back to his home and deal with his brothers. In the first book, and then the second book's going to be a little bit more detailed, a little bit more. Who will this be? But I'm interlacing genres too. I don't want to give away too much. I gotta stop. I don't want to keep telling you. I'm giving away all my secrets. I gotta stop doing that. I mean, what happens if I tell you the whole story now? You end up not needing to read the book. That's not good. But as I said, this is something I've been working on for years. And actually, I had a collaborator for a little while. My best friend, Chris Gardner, who now works for Disney. And he actually created the character, the DJ character I was talking about. One of the brothers. We always wanted to make the three kids. I always wanted to, when we were younger, we wanted to make these characters all in the same universe. Make them brothers and stuff like that. And then we grew up and had lives, and just, Chris started working for House Industries. I started working for mixing uniforms, delivering uniforms, and being a route sales rep, and spending a lot of time doing that, and really not really having hardly any time to do artwork. Because I mean, when you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're not getting home till 6, 7 o'clock at night, the last thing you're thinking about is, what can we get behind the art table and sketch? And the thing was, I had a studio and had a whole room in that apartment. My wife and I were living in back then. We didn't have our kids yet. I had a whole room as a studio, and I maybe in the 2 years or a year and a half, 2 years we lived there in that room, I maybe spent 2 days worth of time in that room. It became more of a place to store stuff. My poor art table, my computer. I had an Apple computer, G3, that I used to keep in there. It all just became a place of piling stuff, and I didn't draw hardly. I didn't draw really almost at all. Well, in the beginning, so I was trying to make enough money so my wife and I could have our apartment. We could live. And pretty soon it became about all making money, and then we moved to another apartment down in Delaware to be closer to friends. I was hoping maybe if I moved to Delaware, I'd be closer to friends, that I'd be able to spend more time with them, and maybe if I spent more time with them, it'd force me to do more artwork because I would see my friends more often. Because I never forget the one time my wife and I got into a fight. It was a horrible fight, and she actually said to me, she goes, "What happened to the artist I fell in love with? What happened to the guy who created these wonderful ideas and these stories?" And I'm like, at the time I was like, he grew up and had to raise a family. It's a stupid thing to say. And eventually, I did start drawing again and getting back into it, but I had lost a lot of ability, a lot of stuff that I gained. My friend Chris said, "Yeah, it's just rust. You'll be fine. You just gotta keep drawing, keep working, get better at it." But then something would come along, and life would happen, and I'd stop drawing again for a while. And I remember one day, I was talking with Elliot online, while he's doing one of his live chats. I think it was on Twitch. It was on Instagram, but it was one of them when he was doing them. And he said, "I don't understand how you could stop being an artist. How you could stop drawing? It's my lifeblood. It's what makes me go." And I agree with him. Trust me, I do, because that's the one thing I think reason why my wife was so mad at me is because when I don't draw, when I'm not doing my artwork, I actually become a miserable pro. Just a horrible person to be around. I get angry and mean and nasty and grumpy as a Gus. It's not good. It's not a pretty sight. People see me start becoming angrier and angrier. And I don't want to be that person. I don't like that person. I want to be me. Happy. Go lucky. Free spirit. I bought one of these, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm not really that pleased with it. It's a big whiteout pen. And I said I have a gel pen. Oh, you know what? It's right. I got another one over here. Let me use this one over here. I forgot. It's a fresh, brand new one, but I love these gel pens. Somebody was on one of the Twitch casters actually using it. And I always ask about new equipment when I see somebody using new equipment. But as they said, and Ellie will tell you all the time, it's not the tool that makes the artist. But hell, if you know how to use these tools, it can make your artwork look really cool. You gotta know how to use the tool. And another thing Elliot always says, I used to hear me reference Elliot a lot because, well, he's been a role model to me. He's inspired me to do this, get back into this. So I'm doing the thing I'm supposed to be doing, which is creating. And the one thing he always says is, practice, practice, practice. There's no magic pill becoming a good artist. The only way you get better is practice. And for some of us, and he's honest about it, some of us, we might never reach the level to become that good. I'm hoping I'm not one of them. I'm working on it, trying to make sure I'm not one of them. I don't want to be that one. But I'll be honest with you, sometimes I wonder, my wife says it's doubting Thomas in me. All I can say is, please follow me. Come back, talk to me. Oh, looks like I got some people. Oh my God, I got some people in the chat. Share, my bro. Have a good night. Oh crap. Hey, Barbara. Wow. I am so sorry. If you ever come back, I apologize. That's Zohan. Zohan, I apologize. I did not see. I'm sitting here drawing and chatting away and thinking I'm talking to nobody, but you came up, Zohan. I appreciate it. I apologize. I didn't talk to you. Oh man, I feel so bad. How long ago was that? Wow. See, I gotta get used to this. Not only that, but my setup's kind of really awkward. I got my webcam here. I've got this camera right here, and then I got my computer way over there because my setup here is not really set up for this. Not really. I have to admit that, but yeah, I'm no longer living in a house where I have my own studio space. I'm trying to make do with what I got. I got my art table here, got my computer desk right there, I got a little table right between the printer. I'm thinking about getting a new setup, but my wife says that's going to have to wait. Really don't have the money for it. And she's right. I can't lie. I can't fault her for saying that. It's the truth. Don't have the money for it, but he told me I can draw, and he likes it. Good. Oh my God, that's actually so exciting that somebody actually said something. I really feel bad I didn't see that chat sooner. You know what? I might set something up separately over here and actually go ahead and, yeah, I actually might do that. I might get myself a little I was thinking about getting myself another one of these booms. I got all these booms all over the place. So I got this one up here for the mic. I got this for my light. I got this for my camera. That for my camera. I put another boom on here. I'm gonna be all boomed out, but I might have to set up for my iPad so that I can actually see comments and see Twitches, see people who might comment and visit me on my thread. So anyway, but guys, follow me, man. Come along for the ride. I promise it'll be a good ride. I promise you we will make this happen, and it will get better. And I am working on it. And oh man, I felt so bad. Guys, my first one, probably only viewer, one chat person. Oh well, it is what it is. Hopefully it wasn't too long ago. Sorry, Mr. Zohan. I did not mean to ignore you. Trust me on that. I apologize, my friend. I hope I see you again. Like or follow, please do. I want to see more people. I will be doing this on YouTube as well. That actually makes me feel better. Actually, somebody actually came to see me, and they complimented me on my artwork, which makes it even better. Whew. Makes it even better. Thank you, Mr. Zohan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am very grateful to you, my friend. Very grateful. Oh, there's one viewer. It says an hour and 43 minutes. So, Mr. Zohan left and went. This thing. Of course, it is 3 o'clock in the morning. I should be going to bed soon too, because I got to get up with the wife in probably about 5 or 6 hours. And we got some grocery shopping to do tomorrow. Gotta feed the fams. I got 3 sons. As I said before, my oldest is 19. Got an 18-year-old. Both of them finishing VOTEC this year. One of them's graduated high school last year, but he's finishing VOTEC this year. The other one, graduating high school this year and VOTEC. I'm very proud of them. But they definitely got to get careers, get jobs. I need help so I can do stuff like this. Keep telling them that I can't keep working all these hours. Can't keep doing 65, 70, 75, 80-hour work weeks. Tired of working 7 days a week. It's killing me. If I'm going to be doing 7 days a week, it's going to be something I love doing, not operating a bus or a trolley. No offense to SEPTA, but it's not my dream. It's not my passion. It's not what I love to do. It's what I do to make money to get my family through right now. And, if I'm not discounting, don't get me wrong, I'm not discounting. Not discounting retiring from there, because, I mean, they do have a pension plan, one hell of a pension plan. But it's hard. It's a lot harder. You know, my wife's uncle, his name was George Fleischman. I say was, he is. His name's George Fleischman. He actually worked for SEPTA. He actually was the one who told me I should. You know, he's like, transportation. He's like, you'll never see anything like it. 'Cause I worked in transportation before. As I said, I worked for another company, limousine motor coach outfit. He said, you nothing like working in Philadelphia for public transportation. Completely different animal than
on the limousine motor coach, and he was telling me that, and turns out he was right. Every day, imagine going in every day and you hear from people saying, dude, you suck. SEPTA sucks. I hate SEPTA. I've heard every nasty comment. And don't get me wrong, I've also heard good compliments from a lot of people. Like, man, you're one of the best operators. And then I try to treat everybody really, really nice, and try to be really nice to people. And I've been told, so I'm not floating my own boat here when I say this, but I've been told by quite a few people that I'm one of the best SEPTA operators, because I make all my announcements. I treat everything as they said. There was this saying they taught us in training of, give them the pickle. So you go to a restaurant and you order. They order a cheeseburger. Somebody orders a cheeseburger. You give them a complimentary pickle. You give them the pickle. You take care of it. Go the extra mile. Take care of it. Take care of that passenger. Take care of that customer. And I try to do that. So whenever people get on my trolley or get on my trolley or bus or whatever I'm operating at the time, I always say hello. How you doing today? And I always try to be really nice. And as they exit, I'm like, y'all have a nice evening now. Watch your step, please. Thank you for riding with SEPTA. Every time we ride, when I make my announcements, when we ride at 69th Street, tell people, I have this whole spew. I do. I'll do it for you right now. It goes like this. All right. So the next to last stop, if you're going to 69th Street, is Fairfield. And then it's like, last stop, 69th Street Transportation Center. Connections to City Suburban Bus Routes, Market Frankfurt Line, Norristown High-Speed Line. Please check your seats for all your personal belongings. Watch your step as you exit the trolley. And thank you very much for riding with SEPTA. And I always use that every single time. And I apologize, I messed it up a little bit there because I'm talking to you on the camera and I'm feeling a little awkward. But I always say that. And same thing when we, like if I'm on the 101 going to Sharon Hill, use the same line. I'll be like, let's see, okay, last stop, Sharon Hill, Chester Pike, Sharon Hill, connection to 114, 115. Please check your seats for all your personal belongings. Watch your step as you exit the trolley, and thank you very much for riding with SEPTA. That's something used for that. Or if I'm doing the media, here you go again. I can't believe I'm doing all this, but anyway, anything I can to get people to follow me. When I'm doing a media trip, on the last trip on media, it's like, last stop, Orange Street. Orange Street's next. Connections for the 110. Please check your seats for all your personal belongings. Watch your step as you exit the trolley, and thank you very much for riding with SEPTA. That's all how I always finish my rides, unless the trolley has the annunciators actually working on the trolleys. They had trolleys. Some of the trolleys do have annunciators, but they don't always work. So there are many times where you got to do it yourself. And when I have to, I do it myself. When I have to. There's been times where the annunciator might not be very loud enough, or I don't feel it's loud enough, and I don't think people are going to be able to get to hear the stop, so I'll make the announcements anyway, even though the annunciator's working. Again, that has a lot to do with the mood, though. Somebody's done something that irritated me, or my mood's not that great that day, and I'm just not quite feeling it. My throat hurts, and the annunciator's making just enough noise to make it legible, but it might not be the greatest. I might get a little lazy. I ain't gonna lie. I try not to be. I'm trying not to be that way. I always, I've grown up in customer service, worked in customer service in one way, shape, or form since the beginning. And one thing I know is with customer service, you always got to treat the customer right. Got to do the right thing. Now, I did learn something a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know. I did learn this thing that the customer is not always right. But the key is to not make them feel like they're not right. Yeah. Because you can't give away the farm just to please the customer, especially if the customer might not come back. You can give them everything in the world, and they might in the end say, screw you. You try to please them, you try to accommodate, you try to do the right thing, but you don't let them fleece you. Because there are people out there who fleece you. My wife was telling me about that. She has her own business. She's an artist too. If you ever get a chance, check her stuff out. She's an interior designer, but she does this home decor stuff. Excuse me. She does this home decor, makes these wonderful little decor items, and you can catch her stuff at if you get a chance. If you're in the home decor and you want to see for yourself, it's dyeStudioDesigns.com. She fabulous stuff. Nature-inspired artwork. Absolutely fabulous. Starting to feel like Bob Ross. Absolutely fabulous. You have a happy little accident. I really shouldn't say that because, again, I don't want to get slapped with copyright infringement or anything like that. And that I was watching, or I wasn't watching, I was reading an article recently. It was a manager of Bob Ross. Poor man died of lymphoma, cancer lymphoma. But my son who wants to be an artist too, absolutely loves Bob Ross. I have to admit, I do too. I love watching Bob Ross. Got that soft, gentle voice, that soft, gentle nature about him. It's really cool to listen to and to watch do this hard work. Anyway, I was reading this thing where he always rehearsed everything, and his key saying was he did it deliberate. There's no such thing as an accident, or no such thing as a mistake. Nothing's a mistake. It's a happy little accident. Everything's a happy little accident. We have this happy little accident, and he makes it work for him. And you gotta really learn how to do that when you're doing stuff like this. With brush, I mean, you saw a little detail I had on this. I'm going in here with more detail. I'm trying to make it work. Work it. This is fun. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy this. This is fun. I now see why Elliot does this. I see why Doug TeNapel does this. I see why Brian Shearer. These are all guys that I recently started watching because Elliot started connecting with these guys and started working with them on their show, and I started watching them. I'm like, wow, I really enjoy this. I should be doing stuff like this, especially when I'm doing my own graphic novel, promote my stuff. And they're showing people, telling people how to do this, and talking about it. And they're like, yeah, if you want to do your stuff, you got to self-promote. But they believe in putting out a quality product too. You gotta have a quality product, and I hope that my product will be quality. That's my goal. Is I want to put out a quality product, quality story, quality artwork. I'll be doing most of it myself because I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't afford to pay for a lot of people to do stuff. I gotta stop saying I'm gonna be honest with you, because there was one time it seemed like he once said to me, he says, every time you tell me you don't want to be honest with you, I know you're lying to me. I'm saying, but I'm not lying to you. He goes, well, then stop using that terminology. I won't be honest with you. Don't use that terminology. If you just be honest, just say, you don't have to tell people you're going to be honest. Just be honest. Every time you tell me you're going to be honest with me, I've got to believe you're lying to me. It's like, okay, you're being honest with me now. When were you lying to me? All right. got a point. Gotta say, he's got a point. Tell me you're being honest with me now. When were you lying to me? Anybody else come up? Nope. Mr. Zohan was my one and only, and he walked away because I wasn't fucking film. I'm sorry, Zohan. Come back. Well, I think he actually wants to go to bed. Keep up the grind. Keep up the work. Keep up the grind. I will. Mr. Zohan, I promise I will keep up the grind and keep up the work. You come back though, my man. The thing I said, what I want to do is I want to set up my iPad over here somewhere, so that I can see. I got this tiny little room. I should show you my setup. It's kind of really awkward, to be honest with you. I got a shelf over here on my art table, and I got my art tables. But it's not a bad size art table, pretty decent size. But I got a toolbox on the other side with all my art supplies on it. And I got art supplies that can't fit my toolbox sitting on top of that. And then I got this bookshelf on this one side, and this bookshelf has got books in here, source material, and also notebooks. It's got my Bible on it, but also it has paper supplies and stuff like that. And then I've got this little white tables that you can see right here that I have that I actually draw on. I put it and tilt it up and draw on it, and then I got my other stuff sitting underneath of it. It's just a tight little place. And it really is tight, but it could be worse. I mean, it could be worse. I could not have this at all. There's people who don't have a house. There are people who don't have a setup like this. I mean, I'm lucky. I got a Mac computer, decent one. It's not the G3. Got rid of that a long time ago. Went with the Mac Mini. I used that for a little while, but realized it didn't have enough power for what I wanted it for. So I gave that to my 19-year-old. And I bought myself a iMac. 2015 iMac. I bought it refurbished through Apple. It was pretty expensive, little ditty, but I like it. That was good for me. That was what I needed to do. Anyway, where do I end this off? Should I put an arm in there? I guess I should. I mean, I got this arm sticking off here. Why not? How do I want to do this? Put the claw in here. Let me adjust this camera so you can see what I'm working on. I put the claw in here. There we go. Forearm coming out right there. Try and keep it as light as possible. There we go. Might be a little big. That might actually be just a scotch too big. Yeah, well, a little too big with that hand. Good thing I drew this in white. That was another thing Elliot was talking about in his last cast again. Elliot Fernandez, Jerk Monger. If you ever get a chance, go check him out. He's actually on here on Twitch. He's currently got a little trouble on YouTube. He's on a YouTube ban. Got caught. He didn't get caught. He got caught up in a thing with apparently this bot, from what he's describing, is him and Doug's and April, they were all talking about it. It's a bot from a company in Spain. Apparently that's how they get their money. They send out these YouTube strikes and then go to the people who have actually own the material that they're putting a strike on and saying, hey, listen, we caught this guy infringing upon your copyrights, and we're going to go ahead and we put a strike on it for you, and we can continue to do this service for you, if you choose to pay our fee and blah 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 this blah blah blah. It's a way of making money, but the reality is though he wasn't doing anything. He was drawing Hellboy. From what I understand, I never got a chance to see the video. I was working when it came out, and apparently it got pulled down before I could even see it. But he was drawing Hellboy, which falls under, and at least in this country, under fair use. But apparently, my sons are telling me that in Europe, there's a big thing going on right now where there's an argument over fair use, and they're trying to basically make it against the law in Europe for fair use. So nothing can be considered fair use. If you have a copyright on it, you have a copyright on it, and nobody can use that material under fair use. So if you own the rights to something, and somebody comes along and draws their version of it and posts it on Instagram or Facebook, then, and Elliot's also very honest in saying he's not sure if that's exactly the reason why he got it. He's not sure why he got the strike, because YouTube's not telling him, not giving him information to help him prevent this from happening. Because he's like honest with him and says, "Hey, listen, I might have, but at least tell me on what part did I do this, so I know never to do this again. I apologize. I'm not perfect. I'm human, which I have to respect. I ain't lying. I gotta respect that. Respect anybody who comes out and says, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, because there's a lot of us out there who will not, under any circumstances, admit our mistakes. And I think it's one of the reasons why I like Elliot, because kind of like a kindred spirit. He's a good guy. Talking about Elliot like crazy. I would be talking about my buddy Chris Gardner if I could. He works for Disney now. And he used to have a site, but every once in a while it would be locked. You couldn't get into it. It's on Carbon Made. Chris Gardner Art Carbon Made. That's the name of it. I guess it was a web hosting company or whatever, but anyway. And I was like, man, why can't I get on there? Why is it blocked? Why won't it let me on there? But problem was with him a lot of times. I mean, he had very little he could post because a lot of customers he worked for, he wasn't allowed to share the material that he was working on with. A lot of work he was doing was with House Industries, and they had non-disclosure agreements with these companies where the stuff he was doing, he was not allowed to show people. Kind of makes it hard to get new business and get new clients for yourself. Hey, listen, I did this, but I can't show it to you. I can't show you the work because the people I need to work for don't want me to show it to you. No. I know he did the work because I'm not full of crap, because I've actually seen some of it myself. I'm not allowed to ever show, I'm never allowed to show anybody any of the work he did or talk about it to anybody, so I won't. But I can say I have seen it. He is an incredible artist himself, Chris Gardner. Best friend. And the BJ character that I was talking to you guys about before, I always wanted to keep in the universe. He just recently, I was nagging him. I wanted to buy the character from him. I wanted to make, because I wanted to keep it together, the whole thing together. And I'm sitting there talking to him. And he's like, dude, listen, because I was going to pay him money up front and then a royalty. He's like, listen, dude, he goes, you're right. I'm not going to have time to do this myself. And you want to keep it with keep the idea with the other characters and keep it on. If you can make money at it, great. Go ahead. You have it. It's yours. The idea, the concept of the character is yours. Go ahead and keep it. He goes, if you make money from it, something happens with it, it ends up big. You're one of my best friends. I know you'll take care of me. And that's what I promised him. I said, absolutely. care of them with these stories and ideas because I know they're awesome. I know they're going to do so great that we will always get a royalty. Royalty off of all of it, anything involved with this, with BJ. And some of the other characters as well. He's my best friend, my brother. Brother from another mother. But anyway, I was fortunate as a kid growing up. I had 5 of the greatest best friends you could ever have. Chris Gardner, as I said before, he and I met in 9th grade, although he insists it was 10th. But nope, it was 9th. Because I keep telling him that by 10th grade, I was only at Interborough High School. Not Interborough, excuse me. I was only at McCain High School for I was only at McCain for less than a year. It was, I was only in McCain High School for a quarter of the year. I ended up having to leave because my mother's husband, second husband, Bob, got arrested again for the second time while they were married, and that was it. My mother called it quits. She's like, "Hey, I gave you one shot, stuck with you. You're sorry I screwed up a second time. We're done. I got 2 kids I got to worry about and take care of. You enjoy your time in jail." Another blessing from my grandparents. I say the blessing from my grandmother. I'd say a blessing from God to have the right people in my life. My mother, my grandmother, and my grandfather introduced me to Jesus, but also instilled me in this thing where you see people doing the wrong thing, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And just because my grandmother used to always say, just because you see somebody else breaking the rules doesn't mean you have to break the rules too. If everybody jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge, are you going to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge as well? And don't you ever dare say sure to that woman, because she'd pull out her slipper and start whacking the crap out of you. And trust me, even a soft slipper hurts. They whack you hard enough. She had this wicked move. Not with the slipper. I actually saw her beat my uncles with a spoon. I shouldn't laugh about that. But she had this wicked move. I called it was the ear pull. She'd grab you by the ear, twist it, and pick you up by it, and walk you to your punishment. So yeah, let go, man. But she got a point across to make sure you didn't break the rules. You knew what the rules were. So yeah, it doesn't happen a whole lot these days. But still some serious values in me. And one of those things, as I said, is just because everybody else breaks the rules doesn't mean you break the rules. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So I try to follow those rules. I even had a little saying to myself to that one, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I had a little twist on the end of that, because, it's hard to remember that. It's not to say it's hard to remember. It's a struggle to live by that philosophy, because you're like, I'm doing unto others as I would have them do unto me, but they're just not doing to me. They're not being nice to me. Even though I'm being nice to them, even though I'm trying to do everything else I'm supposed to do. And that comes into where my grandmother would say, just because everybody else is jumping off the bridge, Brooklyn Bridge, you're going to jump off the bridge too. But I added a little twitch onto that, a little switch, I love that, twitch. I add a little saying onto the do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that saying goes like this: do unto others as you would have them do unto others as you would have them do unto you, especially if they're not doing unto you. And now, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do unto others, especially if they're not doing unto you? And I can lay that down for you. The reason why is hopefully they're learning from you. Hopefully, I mean, you got stubborn people. No matter what you say, what you do, they're not going to listen. They're not going to do the right thing. But if you're doing the right thing, even when they're not doing the right thing to you, and they're being mean and nasty and horrible, and you're still treating them with kindness and gentleness, and even when they're being bitter and evil, it almost, believe it or not, it wakes them up. It does. Not everybody, but on some, it does wake them up, and they're like, and they'll start to quiet off and just walk away. And the reason why is because they realize they're being a dick. And I shouldn't use that term, but they are. They're being mean. They're being nasty. They're not being good people. And essentially, in a way, it's almost like you're shaming them. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm trying to make sure I adjust the camera right and keep moving this. I do apologize. What time is it? Wow, it's almost 4 o'clock. It's 3:41. Oh, my wife's going to be so mad at me because she wants to get up tomorrow morning early and go do grocery shopping. And I want to stop at Michael's because I got to pick up some gouache. It's not gouache. I got to pick up some white gouache. I got this gouache set and I want to pull it out and start working with it. Again, sorry, Elliot. You're the one who gave me the idea for it. He was talking about gouache. I was like, oh man, I got some gouaches. I haven't used them in years. I love those things. I love working with gouache. I love painting pictures with gouache. Trying to do illustrations with gouache. I mean, Disney used to use gouache for illustrations. Illustration work. They probably do. They use more computers now, but yeah. I just want to try it and see what I can do with it. But in order to do that, you gotta get some white gouache. I got no white gouache. White gouache tube looks like it's been dried up and brittle, used up. Got other tubes, other colors I haven't used that much of. I think what happened was the reason why my white was all used and the others are not used up as much is because my wife was doing a project and she needs something with a solid paint or a water-based, a paint that was water-based but come solid. I think I gave it to her to use. She used up most of it, a good portion of it. But, so I want to stop at Michael's tomorrow and try to get some more white gouache. I might go ahead and get a big tube of it because it's good stuff to use, but I don't. The truth is, I was thinking earlier, I really don't have to have it if I don't have it, because I could always just use this stuff. I mean, I can't mix it. With the gouache, but it's a pro white. So if I have something where I got to do an outline or something like that, or light something out, yeah. The great thing about the thing with gouache is you can water it down. It's like watercolor to some extent. You can do some watering it down to lighten it up, so it doesn't get too. Image doesn't. But then also whitening too much sometimes can water down the image. So whitening, watering it down, you can wash out the image. So sometimes it's just better to use the white. Depends on what you're doing. The thing is, you can always work around certain things. find another solution. It's part of being an artist. It's being creative. Oh, I might actually go ahead and use some of that Pro White on this. I'm using the gel pen, but I think I might go ahead and I want to finish this before I wrap up my session here. It's turning into a long session.
And as I said, I only had one person actually
Come up and comment. Mr. Zohan, I appreciate it. And again, I'm so sorry I missed you. I feel like a boob. Chalk up to inexperience. I was originally actually, when I think about doing this, I was going to make it like only a couple minutes. So, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to do this really long, so make it a couple minutes. That's it, a couple minute video. But then as I was doing this, I was like, you realize, it clicked in my head, I was like, you know what? You're going to be sitting there drawing this for a couple hours anyway. You might as well go ahead and just do it while videotaping it. Yeah, people don't catch it. They don't catch it, excuse me, I apologize for snorting in your ear. They don't catch it on the Twitch cast, they can catch it on the YouTube. Might even be able to put pieces of it. Hopefully it recorded properly. Might even be able to put pieces of it on the come on, it's not working the way I want it. It's okay. Pro White does wonders. But might even be able to take segments of it or clips of it and put it in on the Instagram. Alright. So. Drop this down here so you guys see what I'm doing. What do you think, guys? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think it's cool? If you think it's cool, great. I appreciate your compliment. Anyway, we gotta wrap this up. It was incredibly fun doing this. I'm gonna go ahead and use my calligraphy pen to do my signature on this. My signature down at the end. I might add some more stuff to this later. But for now, this is a good start, good piece. Yeah, that's something I can take a photo of and post on Instagram. And hopefully some people will come along and see it and want to join us next time. Enjoying this. Enjoying it so much I can't put it down. Okay. So, Go in here. Which camera are we using on this bad boy? All right. You know what? I just realized something. There we go. Guys, bear with me 1 second. I do apologize. That's the right camera. Nope, that's not the right camera. We'll go in here and we'll use the other one. There we go. Okay. And I'll have that set up for next time. So anyway, but let's go ahead and switch out. So anyway, I'd like to thank you all for joining me here today or tonight. Hopefully, well, the one person was Joanne for showing up. Hopefully, more of you see this on YouTube. If you like my show, if you like what you see, like the artwork that you see, I would love welcome you to come see me on the next live stream. Okay, and hopefully you enjoy this recap on this or the video I'm going to post on YouTube over this. I appreciate you guys coming along and watching. Thanks again. You all have a nice evening.